In the previous segment, we explored how the Flamingo missile's design enhances its ability to penetrate deep into Russian territory, targeting critical infrastructure and disrupting supply chains. This strategic advantage pressures Russia's internal supply, creating a ripple effect on their military operations. Now, imagine the sound of sirens blaring as the ground shakes beneath the weight of heavy warheads. The Flamingo missile, with its devastating payload, is not just a weapon, it's a game-changer. While air defenses may intercept some strikes, the sheer volume of attacks creates chaos. Can Russia truly defend every inch of its territory? The answer is increasingly uncertain. As the rhythm of operations falters, the front lines feel the impact. Each delay in response amplifies the vulnerability of key targets. The strategic goal is clear: inflict damage that lingers, disrupting not just the present but the future of Russian military capabilities. The cost of this warfare is staggering, yet the economics favor the aggressor. What if the unit cost of a Flamingo missile is lower than that of the interceptors meant to stop it? This reality shifts the balance of power. With each wave of missiles, Ukraine can exhaust Russia's defenses, forcing them to make impossible choices about where to allocate their resources. As defenses thin out in secondary regions, the attackers find their path clearer. This dynamic creates a psychological strain on Russian forces. If they can't guarantee safety anywhere, how do they maintain morale? The answer lies in the overwhelming options available to Ukraine. Each successful strike buys time, pushing Moscow closer to a breaking point. The Flamingo program exemplifies Ukraine's ingenuity, adapting decades of aircraft production expertise to meet wartime demands. By repurposing Soviet-era FAB-1000 bombs as warheads, Ukraine cleverly utilizes existing stockpiles, ensuring a steady flow of ammunition without the need for complex development processes. This strategy not only maximizes efficiency but also keeps the pressure on Russian defenses, forcing them to react to a relentless onslaught. As the stakes rise, the question remains: how long can Russia sustain this defensive posture before the weight of attrition becomes unbearable? The answer may redefine the landscape of this conflict. The radius of influence will be redrawn in the planning of critical factories, warehouses, and energy centers. To protect such targets, not only military resources, but also civilian and institutional resources will be mobilized. Mobilization translates into delays in supply and production schedules. Delays extend the re-equipment times of units on the front lines. Extended times shrink offensive windows and give the defense side breathing room. In the political perception, this creates a sense of insecurity in the rear. This feeling erodes the Kremlin's ability to communicate the costs of the war. But what happens when the very systems designed to protect become the Achilles heel? Electronic warfare and navigation struggles are at the heart of this equation. The Russian side is experienced in blackouts, false signals, and creating regional jamming zones. However, this does not mean that a platform with inertial guidance can be completely blinded. Satellite-based correction is not just a luxury, but a critical layer for accuracy. Imagine the tension in the air as missiles soar through the sky, their paths meticulously calculated. Accuracy is a trade-off between the benefit and cost of the payload. Therefore, anti-jam solutions are crucial. The Flamingo's package includes design narratives in this direction. Route planning, waypoint usage, and the final approach profile can be optimized for such defenses. When routes that reduce radar visibility are selected in the final phase of flight, the interception rate decreases. A lower interception rate multiplies the total effect of the attack package. Electronic warfare is not a break in this game. It is friction. Friction increases, but movement does not stop. The production ecosystem is a vulnerable target. Ukraine is mitigating this risk by operating defense companies in a decentralized and camouflaged structure. Underground, rural, and civilian infrastructure embedded lines are part of this strategy. This makes it harder to sever the chain with a single strike. As the volume of work increases, security routines become more burdensome, but the benefits outweigh the costs. The assembly line is being prepared for increased speed. Labor and quality control per unit are critical on a platform carrying heavy loads. If quality control is reliable, the target set diversifies and planning becomes more daring. What if the very systems meant to shield the heart of the operation become its downfall? The stakes are rising, and the clock is ticking. In the previous segment, we explored how Ukraine's strategic focus on prioritizing critical industries has turned every unprotected line into a potential target for attack. The Kremlin's reliance on a dense network of defenses is now being challenged by Ukraine's reconnaissance capabilities. Imagine the hum of drones slicing through the air, their sensors scanning for weaknesses. As they exhaust enemy defenses, a window opens for the Flamingo cruise missiles to strike. The defense units scramble, increasing their missile count and radar coverage, but every resource they allocate here means something else is left vulnerable. This is not just a game of numbers, it's a high-stakes chess match where every move counts. What happens when the first wave of drones overwhelms the radar systems? The second wave of Flamingo missiles capitalizes on the chaos, delivering devastating blows to critical infrastructure. The sound of explosions echoes through the air, a grim reminder of the stakes involved. Refineries, warehouses, and railway junctions become prime targets, each hit sending shockwaves through the Russian supply chain. But can the Kremlin adapt quickly enough? The pressure is mounting, and the mathematics of warfare are shifting in Ukraine's favor. The Flamingo's heavy warheads are designed to inflict long-term damage, not just temporary setbacks. Each strike has the potential to cripple vital energy resources, creating a ripple effect that disrupts the entire operational rhythm of Russian forces. As the dust settles, the implications are clear. The geometry of the Flamingo's penetrator head allows it to reach deep underground targets, striking at the heart of Russia's energy infrastructure. This is not merely about immediate destruction, it's about creating a sustained impact that could alter the course of the conflict. With every successful strike, the balance of power tilts further. Can Russia maintain its military might when its supply lines are under constant threat? The answer lies in the unfolding drama of this high-stakes conflict, where each decision could lead to victory or defeat. The question remains, how long can the Kremlin withstand this relentless pressure? Kyiv has unveiled a powerful new weapon, the Flamingo cruise missile, that could change the dynamics of war. With a staggering range of 3,000 kilometers, it threatens not just the front lines but reaches deep into Russian territory, targeting critical military assets. The missile's enormous potential endangers nearly 90% of Russia's military-industrial complex. Can Putin's doctrine of security, relying on distance, withstand this game-changing shift? As the new phase of warfare unfolds, the Flamingo missile is not just a weapon, it's a strategic revolution. It combines advanced technology with an innovative launch system, making it an unpredictable threat. With a top speed of 950 km per hour and capabilities to evade radar, the Flamingo is designed to strike at the heart of Russia's infrastructure, from the industrial centers of the Urals to the depths of Siberia. The stakes are rising. How will Moscow respond to this new reality? Kyiv is not just building a military arsenal, it is reshaping the battlefield. By producing 1 unit per day, with ambitious plans to scale up to 7 by October, the Flamingo missile represents a surge in Ukraine's capability. The government claims that mass production is set to accelerate, filling the gaps in their current missile arsenal. As these developments unfold, the pressure mounts on Russian defenses. Could this lead to uncharted territories in military strategy? What makes the Flamingo particularly alarming is its potential impact on Russian infrastructure, including vital oil and energy facilities. With 87% of Russia's oil refining capacities within its strike range, the missile threatens to cripple the economic backbone that fuels the war. Every successful strike could disrupt supply chains, inflicting a chilling blow to Russia's war financing. Is this the beginning of the end for Russian energy dominance? The sensitive operations surrounding the Flamingo involve a complex interplay of technological advancements and tactical planning. Using engines from both domestic sources and American manufacturers enhances production security and improvisation in response to wartime challenges. Each successful deployment strengthens Ukraine's operational independence while weakening Moscow's narrative of invulnerability. With such shifts, could the Kremlin's grasp on power begin to falter? Flamingo signifies more than just a new weapon, it embodies a shift in the balance of power. Ukraine's increased flexibility in target selection means attacks can now be more strategically driven rather than bound by political constraints. As military objectives dominate, the unpredictability of strikes pressures Russian defenses beyond their breaking point. In this high-stakes game, will Moscow be able to adapt quickly enough to avert disaster? The clock is ticking, and every moment brings new opportunities and threats on the horizon. In the wake of Ukraine's escalating military strategy, the introduction of the Flamingo missile brings a seismic shift to the battlefield. This missile boasts a staggering range of 3,000 kilometers, with its sights set on Russia's heart. Recent Ukrainian drone strikes already showcased how vulnerable Russian energy infrastructure truly is. Imagine gas stations running dry, panic spreading among civilians, and the entire economy on a knife's edge. The Flamingo missile's operational reach doesn't just end there, it encompasses a web of natural gas facilities ripe for targeting, making it an undeniable threat. As we continue to dissect this game-changing armament, startling revelations emerge. Did you know that 90% of Russia's oil pumping stations and 85% of its gas compressor stations lie within this missile's crosshairs? Should key compressor stations fall, the entire pipeline network could be crippled. This isn't merely about tactical strikes, it's about dismantling Russia's funding veins for wartime operations. But what does this mean for Moscow? The Kremlin can't just fortify its borders anymore, it must rethink its entire defense strategy. Circle back to the missile's potential. Each added layer of Russian defense creates openings in other regions, making it a cat-and-mouse game of desperation for Moscow. Low-profile cruise missiles like the Flamingo zero in on these weaknesses, turning the tide in Ukraine's favor. Russian air defenses may be fortified with systems like the S-300 and S-400, but they cannot effectively blanket an expanse of 3,000 kilometers deep. Can they really defend against the possibility of multiple attacks at once? As Ukraine hones its reconnaissance skills, these clusters of vulnerability are being ranked and targeted. Picture a map, lit up by the potential chaos about to unleash upon Russia's critical infrastructure. Every moment is crucial, and every miscalculation by the Kremlin could lead to catastrophic losses. The question now is, how long until the first Flamingo strikes? The narrative is shifting. With the Flamingo set to redefine Ukraine's combat capabilities, an unprecedented level of pressure mounts on Russian defenses. As each target becomes clearer and more accessible, what further strategies will Ukraine adopt to ensure that this new landscape becomes a reality? Kyiv has strategically marked vital targets within Russia, including the Khan aviation plant, a key producer of strategic bombers crucial for Moscow's nuclear deterrence. With satellite images revealing its expansion, this facility becomes an enticing target for Ukrainian forces. But there's more at stake. Could this missile redefine the balance of power in the region? Imagine the chilling sound of air raid sirens as the Flamingo missile glides through the sky, its stealthy approach evading defense systems designed to protect critical assets. The AVR factory in Julian, responsible for transporting military supplies, and the Voronezh Aircraft Production Association, both within the missile's range, stand precariously close to destruction. The echoes of chaos ripple across the region, heightening tension. Ukraine's newfound attack capabilities threaten not just military production but the very fabric of Russia's defense infrastructure. The NPO Saturn factory, which produces engines for the formidable fighter jets, becomes a tantalizing target. What happens when Russia's supply lines start to unravel? As the Flamingo extends its reach to 87% of Russia's oil refining capacity, the implications become dire. Key facilities that fuel military operations stretch from the Baltic coast to the Ural Mountains, becoming increasingly vulnerable. What would happen if Ukraine could disrupt this supply chain? The stakes are blood-curdling. A single well-placed strike could send shockwaves through Russia's military logistics, destabilizing their operations and leaving them scrambling for alternatives. But as the pressure mounts, the chilling question remains, can Moscow effectively defend its critical assets when the Flamingo is poised to strike? As Ukraine continues to sharpen its edge, the clock ticks ominously. Can Russia maintain its grip when its very heart is under siege? The answer could alter the landscape of warfare forever. In a world where dominance is often defined by firepower, Ukraine's FP-5 Flamingo cruise missile has stirred the geopolitical pot like never before. Can a missile truly redefine the battleground? The skies crackle with anticipation as whispers of this new weapon ripple through military circles. With a staggering range of 3,000 kilometers, the Flamingo threatens the very depths of Russia, from the bustling heart of Moscow to the vast expanse of Siberia. The implications are profound. Picture this, the silent hum of the missile as it soars through the air, its guidance system expertly navigating a labyrinth of terrain. Its 1,150 kilograms warhead is designed to cause chaos, targeting 90% of Russia's military-industrial complex. Can you feel the tension brewing? The Kremlin's grip on its inner sanctum of power is visibly shaken. Each day, one more Flamingo rolls off the assembly line, its production ramping up to 7 units a day. This is not merely an advance, it's a revolution in warfare. But it's not just about raw numbers. The Flamingo's sophisticated guidance combines inertial navigation and satellite correction, making it a nightmare for Russian defenses. What happens when their security doctrine crumbles under such relentless pressure? As delays multiply across the battlefield, can Russia keep its front lines supplied and operational? The answer lies in the artistry of Ukraine's strategic planning and relentless execution. Yet, the stakes are as high as the missile's flight path. Every strike carries risk. As the assembly line hums with industrious energy, the threat of counterstrikes looms large. What if production halts? What vulnerabilities lie within the intricate tapestry of electronic warfare? The stakes are incredibly human, the lives of soldiers hang in the balance, and the echoing sound of air raids paints a grim picture. As the tempo of strikes intensifies, so does the pressure on Russian defenses. Every successful hit on a military facility signifies a failure in their operational rhythm. They may possess layers of defense, S-300, S-400 systems, but can they realistically maintain that density over 3,000 kilometers? Each wave of Flamingo missiles seeks the weakest links, sowing chaos deep in the enemy's territory, where every missed target could lead to catastrophic results. And here comes the twist: Ukraine's assault isn't just a tactical maneuver, it's a psychological warfare campaign. The Kremlin can no longer blame external forces for its losses. Each missile strike is a stark reminder of their faltering narrative. As international sympathy shifts, how does the Kremlin sustain its grip on power? As domestic support wanes, they may find themselves backed into a corner. The graphic realities of war extend beyond the battlefield. Heavy industrial complexes are now under threat, as the Flamingo's operational range casts a wide net over key facilities, from oil refineries to military manufacturing plants. What would happen if a single hit disrupted production capabilities essential for military logistics? Can such strikes lead to a ripple effect that curtails war efforts? The final act in this strategic saga revolves around resilience and adaptation. Each missile detonation sends shockwaves through the military supply chains, forcing adversaries to rethink their operational timelines. When one facility falters, can the others absorb the blow? Will they stand resilient or collapse under the weight of consecutive strikes? As the landscape shifts beneath their feet, one truth remains: the tide of warfare is turning, but can it decisively swing in Ukraine's favor? The battle continues, and as every second ticks away, each decision shapes the battlefield of tomorrow. Kyiv has done it again. The unveiling of the FP-5 Flamingo cruise missile sends shockwaves through the military landscape. With a staggering range of 3,000 kilometers, its reach extends ominously from the front lines to the heartland of Russia, threatening key military-industrial targets. This is not merely an upgrade in artillery, it's a seismic shift that challenges the Kremlin's grip on security. The Flamingo changes everything. No longer does Ukraine wait for permission to strike, they can now hit Moscow and beyond directly. What does this mean for Putin's doctrine of distance-based security? Could his established beliefs be crumbling under the weight of this new threat? As we peel back the layers of this strategic development, we uncover shocking insights about potential targets. Nearly 90% of Russia's military-industrial complex could be within its crosshairs. But how does it work? This missile boasts an impressive speed of up to 950 kilometers per hour, combined with state-of-the-art inertial navigation and satellite guidance. Designed to evade detection, the Flamingo maneuvers with low-altitude flight paths. Perhaps the most alarming feature? Its launch system is portable, meaning Ukraine can quickly adapt and strike from unexpected positions, complicating Russia's defensive response. However, production is the critical factor. Just one Flamingo rolls off the production line each day, but ambitious plans aim to churn out 7 by October. The government claims mass production is imminent. What does that mean for the battlefield? Are we witnessing the dawn of a new era of warfare? As we look closer at the target map, an unsettling reality emerges. Ukrainian forces could now threaten not just military sites but also critical infrastructure, including oil refineries and gas facilities crucial to funding Russia's war efforts. Nearly all oil pumping stations and gas compressor stations lie within the missile's radius. This vulnerability could plunge the Russian economy into chaos, an unforeseen consequence of Ukraine's evolving military capabilities. But it's not just a numbers game. Every defense unit must spread its resources thinner, leaving some sites unguarded, creating opportunities for Ukraine to strike. What will Moscow do to bolster its defenses? As they scramble to protect vital industries, the effectiveness of their air defenses falters. Can they calibrate their strategy to respond to the relentless pressure from the Flamingo project? The narrative is clear. Every attack alters the rhythm of conflict, shifting the balance toward Kiev. Imagine the panic within Russian ranks, grappling with the knowledge that their core military functions are now at risk. As the moment of truth approaches, the question looms: how will the Kremlin adapt, and can they withstand the mounting pressure? The stakes have never been higher, and the future remains uncertain. What moves will they make in this escalating game of strategy? Your insights could shape the understanding of this unfolding drama. Join the conversation. What if a single missile could alter the whole landscape of warfare? Imagine a weapon that threatens the very heart of an enemy nation, not just its borders but deep into its industrial core. This is the chilling reality as Ukraine unveils the FP5 Flamingo cruise missile. With a staggering range of 3,000 kilometers, this missile brings vast swathes of Russia, extending from Moscow to the Urals, into its crosshairs. It boldly endangers 90% of Russia's military-industrial complex. Is this the game-changer Kiev needs to wrestle the initiative from Moscow? As the applause fades, the implications deepen. The Flamingo isn't merely a new addition, it shifts the balance of power. Kiev no longer needs to hesitate, waiting for approval from its allies. Instead, it now has the capability to launch strikes on its terms. But can this newfound freedom shatter Putin's long-held doctrine that safety lies in distance? As Kiev braces for winter, the stakes have never been higher. Diving into the specs, the FP5's power is undeniable. With a maximum speed of 950 km per hour and equipped with a massive warhead weighing 1,150 kilograms, its reach extends into every corner of European Russia, including critical industrial zones in Siberia. The precision of its guidance package, which combines inertial navigation with satellite corrections, sharpens its edge. What's more, the missile's audacious design minimizes radar visibility, allowing it to navigate low altitudes seamlessly. Could this be the ultimate nightmare for Russian defenses? Production rates are set to ramp up. Reports indicate one Flamingo is rolling off the assembly line every single day, with ambitions to escalate to 7 daily before the month's end. As announcements of mass production loom, authorities affirm that the threshold has already been crossed. This frenzy of activity signals that the Kremlin must now adapt to a rising threat that may soon exceed its defenses. But how can Russia protect its deep industrial heart without spreading its resources too thin? The Flamingo algorithmically augments Ukraine's arsenal, filling a glaring gap in its capabilities. The strategic map quickly transforms, and vital nodes like refineries, chemical plants, and critical rail networks along the Volga River become primary targets. The very industrial engines that fuel Russia's military efforts now lie exposed. Even factories producing advanced weaponry, such as the T-90M main battle tanks and BMP-3 infantry fighting vehicles, are now within reach. What will happen to these symbols of Russian power when they suddenly find themselves in the crosshairs? As the countdown to potential strikes begins, the aviation industry also braces for impact. Iconic facilities producing Russia's formidable strategic bombers are ensnared in this newly crafted targeting web. Could a strike on these installations reshape the future of Russian air power? The stakes are growing, and the pressure is mounting. As these changes ripple through the strategic landscape, how will the Kremlin respond? The ensuing conflict may redefine not just regional dynamics but the very essence of modern warfare itself. What unfolds next could be unprecedented. In recent developments, Ukraine has unveiled a formidable weapon designed to shift the dynamics of warfare, the FP5 Flamingo cruise missile. This advanced weapon boasts a striking range of